I'm Gail with Nature's Carolers, and today we're going to make seed logs. You'll need a container similar to this for the recipe that we're using today. This is a container that a store-bought seed log came in. So a similar size container like a soup container from the grocery store will work. You'll also need a tube like some PVC or a wooden dowel to stick in the middle. This is actually a seed and nut log that I made yesterday. I actually formed the cylinder inside this oatmeal container. If you use a container like this, you'll want to keep that plastic top, and that will become the bottom, and then you'll cut the bottom out so that you can easily slide your cylinder out. You could also use disposable cups to make smaller seed logs. So what you'll want to do is line your container with a piece of wax paper or some parchment paper, and that will provide for easy removal of the cylinder once it's set up. It's helpful to have a cookie sheet or a baking sheet for easy cleanup, or some newspaper. This recipe uses 5 cups of ingredients in total. You could make that all seed mixture, or you could add some nuts and dried fruit for some of the seed mixture, which is what I'm going to do today because we are going through a major cold spell, and I want to provide the birds with a little bit higher fat content in the seed log. This is one of the advantages of making your own seed logs. You can customize the ingredients to attract certain birds or to provide higher fat content during cold spells. I'm using 3 cups of seed mix, and I have 1 cup of chopped peanuts. If you add peanuts, you want to make sure these are raw and unsalted. You can also add tree nuts like some chopped almonds or some chopped walnuts. I'm going to add a 1/2 cup of chopped walnuts. If you add something like almonds or walnuts, again, they need to be raw and unsalted because the birds aren't capable of metabolizing large amounts of salt, and it could become toxic to them. I'm also adding a 1/2 cup of some raw shelled sunflower seeds. So I'm really trying to help my feathered friends this week. So if you add in some nuts, just give that a little toss with your hands. And you could also add some dried fruit, like some dried raisins. I found some really old dried up raisins in the pantry, so I'm gonna throw in a couple tablespoons of those. So you need 5 cups of material in total. That can be 100% birdseed, or you can do like I did and substitute a couple of cups for some various seeds. Our binder for our seed log is gelatin. We're going to use 2 packets of gelatin. I'm using the Knox plain gelatin. And we're going to first dissolve that in 1 cup of cool water. Stir your cool water and your gelatin until the gelatin is all dissolved. And it'll start thickening up just a little bit. Now we're adding 1 cup of hot water right out of the tap. It doesn't need to be super hot or microwaved. And let's get this all well dissolved. And that looks good. Let's pour this into our nut and seed mixture and toss this until everything is well coated with that gelatin. It's going to be a little bit soupy, but that's fine. This is going to get soaked up by the seeds. After our seed log sets up for a few hours or overnight, then after we remove it from our container, the seed log will sit out for about a day to completely dry. Now all we have to do is transfer this into our container. As I go, I give it a little shake and use my spoon to press this in a bit. So that was just the right amount for this size container. Now if you find you have some left over, sometimes what I do is just mold it inside of a little cup or something and put a string in it and then make like a hanging ornament for the birds. Now what we're gonna do is compact this. I'm using this 50-ounce can just because of the diameter of the bottom, but it doesn't matter what size can. I'm placing a piece of parchment on here. And you're going to compress this. This size can works perfect, but I have used smaller cans. You just have to go around it a couple times. So just put quite a bit of pressure on there. I'm using a 10-inch piece of 1/2-inch PVC piping and push that through the center. So this is going to go in the refrigerator for 4 to 6 hours. Our seed log that we made earlier is set up for about 3 hours, and I placed it in my garage where it's about 25 degrees. So it's set up very quickly. You're just going to tap it on the bottom just a bit. So you want to give it a little push in the center of the bottom to get it to come away from the bottom. Give it a little pressure. With that wax paper or parchment paper, it will slide right out of the container. And then we gently peel off the wax paper. This is going to take about a day to completely dry. The piece of PVC I'm using just slides right out. What you'll want to do is push it through the bottom. And I'm just going to leave this at room temperature for the next 24 hours, and this will be ready for the birds. You know, using the seed log is great because the birds typically stay a little longer pecking rather than just grabbing a seed and running off the feeder. So you have a better chance of seeing the birds and for a longer period of time. I calculated these out to be around $6 a piece. So that's a significant savings. It's a great way to save a little money. Customize your seed log for attracting the birds that you particularly like. If you have any questions about making your own seed logs, please leave a comment below the video. Happy birding!